Hi everyone, this is Psychic Sleuth, and I'm going to be doing Dulce's fourth reading. I did this last night, 10/23/19, and I just did a live, so my lights are kind of going out, but I apologize for the little round circles. These are the lights I could afford for now to try to get my videos a little brighter. I'm still working on something else I can do, but for now, this is it. So, I want to talk about a couple things before I do the video. I want to say a little something about Cupcake real quick. I had done a small reading, but it was the same day that I did on Delphi on the 16th of October. I was not getting anything really clear. However, I didn't realize it was clear enough. I was given dumpster and landfill, and there was a plant and a lot of sand. The plant could have been the landfill, but it could have also been there's a plant really close nearby, and the sand could also be the landfill because I noticed the sand piling up. So, and I wanted to go up on the map. So we even have a picture from the group where I was working, and it is of the landfill, and that was the last place that we looked. And then I said, I was so tired, I didn't realize how straightforward she was, and I really didn't need to work on it anymore. But I wanted to work on it more, and I was trying to get some time to do so. I got sidetracked. I didn't get back to her in time. If you want to, like I said, you can join the Psychic Sleuth podcast group and look at the screenshots if you would like to. I'm sorry that I didn't release it at time. She said exactly where she was. She was very smart in that, very straightforward. I was really exhausted that night when I did Delphi, because it ended up being an hour and a half reading, and rarely are they that straightforward. So I feel bad because I could have called it in on the 16th had I realized. Like I said, I got a little sidetracked with all the cases that people asked me to work on in private readings and things people asked me to do. So I apologize that I didn't do something at the time. And I do feel like I failed her in that way and that she had to sit there longer. I'm really kicking myself in the booty about it. Again, you can look in the group where I posted the screenshots of the part of the reading that I did, and you could talk to Kylie, but who did the reading with me. But I have a lot of guilt of not getting back to it fast enough or realizing it sooner that I actually didn't need to do any more work on it, because I was actually going to do some more work to see exactly where or what else I could get. Anyways, this is a tragedy. Nevaeh was also found the same area, just different state, but on the same day, and that's what I'm talking about as far as the connections. I wonder if the name Heaven that I got in Auto Right 1 is for her, since Nevaeh is heaven backwards. There's also a woman with a clown tat that was found in a dumpster. I always say about the timing, and there can be waves of where people are found that are similar area, and that's kind of, how Interconnect works. I also need to address something before I begin on the reading. I always try to explain that when I get names and descriptions that it can be connections. I would never point fingers or cause mass hysteria about a POI unless I was for sure. Regarding the one person that, yes, I got his name many times and it keeps coming up in EVP for whatever reason. It could be that he knows something or is very close to the perp. Since the beginning, it has came through as a connection to an uncle. People need to be taking the readings as puzzle pieces. They are all listed in the group if you can't remember what is said. And they need to go back over them, because in everything there are clues to where she is and who did this. So I want to apologize for people hounding and harassing him. It was not my intention. I think that people need to look at those close to him, and I mean always have your eyes open. People are always innocent until proven guilty, as I always say, and that name is pretty popular among the Spanish nation. People do not need to run off and start harassing someone, because again, it could be Spirit's way of saying that he may know the person or some other reason. It may be her only way to describe a connection or how to find the perp. When you start putting things all out there that way too much, and I'm not saying like he has anything to hide, but people can start hiding things. Anytime that we're looking at anyone, no matter who it is, it should be kept quiet. And yes, I have been told to leave this to LE by someone, another keyboard warrior. How many missing cases are left to LE that get solved? I'm not saying anything bad about them. Yes, they do their best. But there are so many missing people that they have to keep up with. Wouldn't you do anything that you could to get answers to find someone if they are missing? I know that I would. Wouldn't matter to me. Ellie doesn't know it all, we don't know it all, nor do I ever pretend to know it all. I'm just trying to give Dulce a voice to find her, that is all, and put the info out that she gives me. I do not make it up. So if a name is said, it's for a reason. It may only be a connection, as I try to say prior to readings, does not necessarily mean that he's involved, or it could be explaining or describing the connection or how to find him. Or it is possible he knows more than he even realizes. Or he could be connected. We just don't know. But we can't be jumping to conclusions. So with that being said, let me once again explain how I work. But hopefully you guys stop and listen to the beginning, because I always explain how I work. In channeling, I can get past, present, and future. I also can get names, places, and things that connect to the perp or surrounding areas. Names can be connections and may be one way to say, look at the people connected to him to find the perp. Please do not go pointing fingers. Look at things quietly for evidence and then turn them in quietly. Does Ellie go announcing that they are looking for someone? Normally no, because they can get rid of evidence or whatever. Run, whatever. Not everything will fit her in this reading. As for some reason, the way spirit works with me, I can have interconnecting cases, and interconnects usually are about timing of other cases or similarities in them. Also the area. And also things can be symbolic. On to her reading. Again, my friend did an EVP session with her, and that name that was mentioned yet again, the one that keeps being mentioned over and over, Jesus, in readings and EVP. So there is a reason. I'm just not really sure what it is yet. So I was hearing the word trece, so I don't know if that's 30 in Spanish or what the word is. Also, I was getting that song Blue, where it talks about a blue house and a blue Corvette and everything is blue, and he's blue, everything is blue for him, and he's got no one to listen to. You can look up the lyrics, so it's kind of weird, because when I was going to look for Cupcake, I got something about a blue house, and the number is 479. We don't know. We know it wasn't for her, so I'm not really sure who it's going to fit, if it's going to fit here or not. So I'm thinking it could fit her or whoever it's coming in for. Also the number 429 as well, which is kind of weird because this number 429 ends up being an address across from Paul Farms, which came in. So I can hear weaning of the horses and the tails swatting flies, but it only looks like a few horses, not like a whole lot. So Blue could relate to how he is, or the house he lives on, the house she's near. But I remember getting blue suede shoes, so maybe he likes that color. Because again, I get a ranch farm type area, and they have a wooden fence around the horses, and the horses have stables. So I want to start sort of zoom in on about this guy. I definitely think that he's a friend of the uncle or a coworker very close to him, because that comes in strongly. He definitely knows him and may even know or have an idea of what he's done. I noticed the change in the looks as either guilt or sadness. And again, as I always say, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Say that in all my videos because that's how it is. These are just my psychic impressions. Okay, so something is definitely taking a toll, but I feel like he could hang around him a lot. I get a reference to landscaping again and pruning roses. I get a reference to bull riding, so either it's an interest, or he likes to go, or he even rides. Also here, neighbor, but then I think maybe he works or knows this area for some reason. I get a reference to wooded area, but before the wooded area is a dirt road and a fence, and there's definitely a field. If you're looking at the map, you would go on your left side. Looked last night, and Hopewell has a lot of the streets I've gotten, and they all connect to each other or are close by. So I want to say to the left of the map in that farming area. I would turn right down the dirt road if I'm coming from Bridgeton, which I think I'm going to try to draw a picture and put it in the group. Please join the group because I haven't done it yet, or I would put it on the video. Like a map of what I'm seeing. So turn right down the dirt road. I'm coming from Bridgeton, and she would be on the left of the dirt road by a field is what I keep seeing. It goes like field and woods and then lake or water or pond. But there's a, water there. Like a row, like in a row, kind of like that. Now names would be nice, but a lot of names have been given. I'm not sure the road that she's on has a name. And she doesn't even give a name whenever my friend does EVP with her either. So it might not have a road, or I feel like she kind of doesn't know exactly where she is either. I keep hearing Rochester, and I know that's randomly. I got that randomly one night, but I don't know. It may not fit here, or he could be from there, or there's a connection, or it's a road. He keeps coming in, so it could be completely different case. I have no clue why I hear the word bribery, and I'm shown Jesus again. So I think there's a strong link there. I don't know if he's involved. As I said, I'm not really feeling that way. It's more of like very strongly linked to the man who is. He knows this man and may even have an idea or may not, but there's a strong link there. Someone that I feel he knows well. That name Acosta coming in again, that came in Erica. I don't know why my left arm, I don't know why like my left forearm is hurting all of a sudden. I don't know if it's her, him, something about the distal radius, whatever that means, but I heard it, so maybe he has an issue with that. I get a reference to cowboy hats and then baseball caps and kind of western boots. I think he may even have a pair of snakeskin or like snakeskin boots. I see him at least like late 30s, early 40s, around their ages. Ages are hard because people age differently. I get the word coaster, I don't know what that means, and I hear a loud motor, not sure what kind yet. Also hear a leaf blower. I get a reference to him speaking a lot of Spanish, and she did know him, and like she wasn't afraid of him because she had seen him before or knew him, and she wasn't afraid of him. I get very close to the family. I get the name Jose, again the word Eduardo. Also weird, the word meniscus, so I don't know, maybe he tore it at one time or there's an issue with the knee. The word parlor, reference to dairy cows. I see them black and white ones, so I don't know if they have them on a farm, even just a couple, and they use them for milk, or it's symbolic in some way, but all this farm stuff could just be symbolic to a farm. I hear the words family ties, like ties to the family. I think maybe they know him as well. I get a reference to button-down shirts, and I do see suspenders at times. I'm shown the butter blue bonnet. I'm shown the cover for that, so makes me wonder if it's a place where they make butter or cream. I see the packaging label for it. I get the first part of the name Win, W-I-N. I don't know if it's Winslow or just Win and then something. I can't make it fully out. I get a reference to this guy seems normal but very much does weird things. I see him shaving but also see him watching things on the computer. You get my drift of little girls, not big girls. I feel like stalker peeping Tom type, but I feel he's been to family functions and that he's been invited. I also see clowns again, so I don't know if he does this as like a moonlight job as this, or maybe it symbolizes he was at the party or something. I do know there is clowns stealing kids in Mexico, could be that, but or it could interconnect and make sense for both. And I've gotten more on a clown in random auto write 1. You can go back to that. But what's strange is on my friend, her EVP is picking up a blonde girl, which I got that in auto write 1 about the clown. So I don't know if it's connected or not, but I do know that there was a clown party at her house or something the beginning of September. Interesting, she was missing a few weeks later, right? Also, that clowns do rodeos. I get the color red, but she shows it to me as red vines, which coming from a little girl to show the color, or maybe she liked them. I get the word townie, I don't know why, and I get the word Birkenstocks. He has a belt with a belt buckle that looks like a bull. Lots of Jesus references and stuff. Like Jesus is a popular name amongst the culture, but in a way it could be symbolic. I get a reference to that he's linked to a church strongly, goes to it with them or knows them from a church, presents himself as godly. I was going to say preacher or priest, but I don't think he is, but I mean, could feel that way as he knows the Bible and whatnot. I just see him involved with a church or portrays or volunteers as a youth pastor kind of feeling, as he must speak some Spanish, and then must also do some type of landscaping, maybe for the church or school or whatever. I keep being reminded of those pastors and priests that killed kids because it makes it hard to believe, but then there are fakes out there, right, that only pretend to be something that they're not, a wolf in sheep's clothing. I get a reference to him holding a Bible, so that may be the references. I do want to go behind a church. I'm not really sure why, and I've been wanting to, where there are woods behind and maybe a road. I get the name Holy, could be a groundskeeper too, as that came in before, and I feel like he likes to be involved with kids. Like seriously, this is the last person anyone thinks. From what I'm shown, he seems like a regular looking Mexican guy. He's not really way dark though, I'd say medium or lighter, but his face is wider and rounder. He's a bigger guy, long sleeves and button up. I think he has different kinds, and it's tucked in, and then I guess sometimes you could wear it out, but they show me it tucked in as a bit of a beer belly, or a bit of a belly. I guess you could call it like a beer belly. Looks like I'm getting the reference to a church on the corner, and like somewhere before you go down the dirt road. I don't know if it's their church, but it's a church. I also get the words like Holy Communion and Santa Rosa, which I got randomly before, which have to do with the Catholic heritage, or Catholic belief, sorry. So if you go past the woods, I guess the lake, like even if there's no road, like if you were to keep going, you would end up at the bay area or big water area. Like I think a river may go into the bay there. That's just part of the location, as they're showing me, like if you keep going, that's what you'll run into. Like kind of Bombay, but up a little, so not so far. But I want to say that they're referencing that side of the map. I think the road is private property. I get a reference to tall grass, and I see him lay her down gently as she's wrapped in a blue blanket. Can be symbolic, I guess, but you can't see her. The grass is so tall. Again, one lone tree. I don't know if it's symbolic or there is one we haven't found yet. And then he confesses his sins and makes a cross with his hands the way Catholics do. He's got a rosary in his hand that he touches, and I don't know, he's weird. He's got like two sides, but the other side he can't control. I think he may have moved to the area like a few years ago or something. I get the name Paul, and I noticed on the map that there's a Paul Farms in this area by Hopewell, which is weird because that's where 429 would fit as an address across from there or close to there. I'm wondering if he's even undocumented, because I hear that and it's coming before. The family knows him, especially the uncle. Like there's this total facade. The word Brighton, and don't laugh, but I think there's something weird with his testicles from what they just said. Like one's not distended or something. I was seeing it and I didn't want to. I also got the reference to a white van again, and I wonder if he maybe took care of the grounds like for a school or surrounding places, areas that maybe she was at, or even the home. I feel like many ways he's a loner, but at times he has a few friends or whatever. He's just kind of odd, but not odd enough for anyone to really notice. I don't think he hangs, I don't think one of his things hang right. Distended or whatever it's called. I get a reference to headstones again. It could be like one on a little farm. It looks small. The name Aguilar, and the name Escondido, some kind of name with a bar in it. So maybe just bar. Maybe he goes to a bar. Keeps showing me roses. She's hugging a teddy bear. I always see her with it. I also see bricks, so I don't know if there's some kind of building with bricks or symbolic. Also a fire, so I don't know, that could be symbolic, or maybe a place that she can see it from, like a smokestack or maybe a fire department. I don't know if this has anything to do with the fires we've had around here today. It's just kind of weird timing. Also get a reference to Jericho again. That was kind of coming in earlier. It's like being spelled out. I don't know if he's just neighborly or an actual neighbor from the area, but that's how he feels. Or maybe he could even have two houses or two residences. Someone who is close to her or the family. Watched for a long time, peeping Tom type 2. I think he does things to be around children, maybe church, clowns, things like that. Showing a bowling ball, so there's a bowling place or a reference to him bowling. I also hear bowling ball head down and hit the pins. Also, this is weird, but I'm shown a pin that he keeps in his shirt pocket, and I think he's either like a boss or something, or it could be his business. As self-employed has come in before, but I see him writing things down, like plants, trees, and stuff like inventory, flowers, things like that that are coming and going. His shoulders are wider, and he's a bigger guy, not scrawny. But I see him in church too, teaching the kids. He could do both. See him reading stories and whatnot. I also see balloon animals. Reminds me of like someone that's like a youth pastor, but not, maybe might not quite be one. The ones that help with Sunday school or whatever. I get a lot of that around him, and he puts out this really churchy man, God-fearing man, and he can recite the Bible on command, basically. I get the word, or different excerpts from it, I should say. Get the word magnolia. I've gotten that before. I did see a woman was killed with that recently with that name, so it could be that, or it could be a street or whatever. I'm trying really hard to get a name, but it's not really coming in. She doesn't do that on the EVP either. So I don't think that maybe that place is named. She's just saying what's around. She's really good at describing it though. So he overcompensates for his behavior by acting really good and nice and everything. I do see him drink a lot at times, showing me a light tower. I don't know why, or like a lighthouse looking thing. There's also a reference to a red barn and a windmill. I can hear chickens crow, and I see a sign that says private property, keep out, and it's black and white on a post. I don't know, this road isn't really traveled. It's a back road, private road. I get a reference to behind a church. I don't know why. Also get a reference to B. I also hear something like Belvedere or something in the word Bellefontaine. It may not fit here. I'm shown yellow daisies. Maybe there's somewhere she's at. I would like to think that he would hide her better, but there's something about where he put her that has meaning to him. I mean, I guess I could be seeing something symbolic, but every time it's the same. And from the very beginning, I was told she would be on the side of the road, so unless he's moved her or something, I don't know, that's what I keep getting. So something about the area or whatever. I don't know if people are putting ribbons around trees, but I see a yellow ribbon around a tree. And he thinks he's gotten away with it, and no one suspects him or thinks he's responsible. No one's looking where she is, and no one will find her. He didn't put that much into hiding her. He's very full of himself, and I think he also plays pool. I see him shooting pool. I do think he's possibly married or separated, but still wears a wedding ring, or the wedding ring is symbolic for even being married at one time. He's one of those that thinks if you ask for forgiveness and it's forgiven. He can't stop himself, I guess, so he thinks it's okay. I get the word Greenwich, again, could be a street. I think he's tried but couldn't, or something like urges he can't control. I get the word tide. I see her, I see her like if on the map you're looking somewhere to the left. I think the other areas I've mentioned are work or family or whatever, but I get chills on one part of my leg strongly, like on the side of my leg going down very strongly at that point during the reading, like almost the side of my leg was asleep, and usually that means that I'm being touched by spirit. If I could feel her kind of presence standing there next to me touching my leg, so I can't seem to get a name from her. She just kind of describes. I got the name Road before, and I do hear trench. I can see it clear. I can't find it till I try to draw it later. Judah or Judas, names from the Bible. I haven't looked up the story, so I don't really know. It could be symbolic. So I think that's it for now. I do want to say, my friend, like I said, my friend who does EVPs gets a lot of the church stuff and validates a lot of the readings with what she gets. So a lot of what I've gotten, she has gotten also. So that's another reason why I feel that this poor girl is passed, only because she's coming through EVP and she's talking like a child would, and it's matching the readings. So thank you for liking and subscribing. This is what I've gotten. If you have any idea of what I'm talking about, or you need a case done or a private reading, you can contact me, generalheartreadings@hotmail.com, the Psychic Sleuth, psychicsleuth@gmail.com, and you can find me on Facebook or join the Psychic Sleuth podcast. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I'll see you guys next time.